Right now at 10, cuts have been made to Medicaid across the nation. How the lack of funding will make it harder for a local family to find care.
And an arrest is made after a Lake Delton death, the ongoing investigation by police, and how neighbors are reacting.
And spotting images created by artificial intelligence. We'll tell you how well two local siblings can do at finding what's fake. That is all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Families in Wisconsin are preparing for changes to their health care coverage following the passage of President Donald Trump's, quote, big, beautiful bill.
And as our Maddie Heimsch reports, many parents say they're left with just one question.
What are we going to do?
Katie Murrow's 10-year-old son, Cade, was born with Prader-Willi syndrome.
He's got deletions on his 15th chromosome.
Due to the symptoms of his rare genetic disorder, Cade relies on Medicaid to help with his treatment.
He's doing great because we have these supports and we have the waiver that's helping us, like, okay, we can get you to camps and we can help you get with these therapies or these social programs.
But as President Trump signs the, quote, big, beautiful bill, Katie worries about the availability of Cade's services.
Well, the only reason we were able to do that is because we had the support, of CLTS or, his Medicaid waiver.
The bill would restrict access for immigrants and refugees, ask enrollees to verify their eligibility more often, and enforce work requirements. New guidelines that could cause millions to lose their coverage.
They had to save money on spending somewhere. They didn't want to take it from defense. They want to take it from immigration, where they added and so forth.
UW-Madison public policy and economics professor Tim Smeating says minimizing Medicaid will save federal money, but it's not all savings.
Another big thing is there's increased administrative costs because there are work tests on people now. But the state's going to have to add costs to administer those tests.
Katie says she, too, is preparing for extra paperwork.
Yes, he's doing great, but no, he still needs the help and the support, from the waiver.
As she, like other parents of children on Medicaid, is just hoping to keep her kid covered.
I have 5 children, so I'm like, and they all need me, so it's hard.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Storms are back in the forecast for southern Wisconsin.
Meteorologist Blaise Keller joins us now with where things are now.
And we have a little bit of rain activity as well as that chance for a few thunderstorms this evening. That's going to continue into Tuesday as well. We'll take it into parts of Dane County as that's where we do find some shower activity hanging out right around Sun Prairie with some of that rain making its way into Lake Mills and up near Columbus right now. But the heaviest shower activity is just outside of Sun Prairie right there on what looks to be County Road End. So that's where the heaviest shower is in Dane County, but then we'll take it out back into Grant County near Potosi. That's where we also find a little bit of shower activity this evening, making its way up into the Platteville area. This really hasn't moved a lot over the last, I would say, hour or so. So some localized heavy rain may be possible, some gusts at times, but because these aren't really turning into thunderstorms, we're likely not going to see anything in the way of severe weather, not only this evening, but into Tuesday as well. Future Track is going to continue to bring those hit or miss showers and thunderstorms as we go overnight. Peaking there as we go into the early morning hours on Tuesday. We get a break, and then we'll once again see those showers and thunderstorms as we go into the afternoon hours, especially further to the east, Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, and we're not anticipating any severe weather tomorrow as well. There is a look at where we'll end Monday, right around where we should, in those low to mid 60s. A few more rain chances this week. We'll time them out in the full forecast.
All right, Blaise, thank you. Lake Delton police are continuing a death investigation after a woman was found dead in a home Friday night. Police were called to a home just west of the Wilderness Resort. Officers say a woman was found dead inside the home. One neighbor spoke with News 3 Now saying, well, this could happen anywhere. He is shocked that it happened here.
Been here about 12 years. It's been pretty quiet up here. This is kind of a first for this area that I've seen. This is, to me, very much isolated incident.
An arrest was made Sunday night with a 23-year-old man taken to the Sauk County Jail. The name of the victim is still being withheld.
A sentence has been decided for a man involved in a deadly 2021 shooting. Justin Burge will spend 10 years in prison with 5 years extended supervision for first-degree intentional homicide as a party to a crime, attempted armed robbery as a party to a crime, and harboring or aiding a felon. Back in November of 21, Burge and Shabri Link shot and killed 24-year-old Eric Ranson outside of a home on Madison's northeast side. Link was sentenced to 20 years years in prison.
Several homes of University of Wisconsin Regents have been vandalized. That's according to a UW spokesperson. Some of the houses had Free Palestine notes on them. The specific homes that were vandalized have not been disclosed. The UW-Madison Police Department says it is not investigating these incidents, but it is helping coordinate information.
In Texas now, the death toll following the weekend's deadly flash flooding has climbed to more than 100.
Rescue workers continue to search for those who remain missing as new questions are raised over the area's warning systems. Nydia Cavazos has more.
In Kirk County, Texas, efforts to locate those who remain missing in the wake of the deadly weekend floods continue.
This will be a rough week. I've said this 100 times, and I will say it again. We need your prayers.
As of Monday afternoon, Texas officials confirmed over 100 people were killed in the floods. Camp Mystic, an all-girls camp in Kirk County, announced at least 27 of its campers and counselors died. 10 campers and 1 counselor remain unaccounted for. Speaking at a Kerrville press conference Monday, Texas Senator Ted Cruz said he hopes valuable lessons will be learned from the Camp Mystic tragedy.
And so I think we will have a reasonable conversation about, are there any ways to have earlier detection? Everyone would agree in hindsight, if we could go back and do it again, we would evacuate particularly those in the most vulnerable areas, the young children in the cabins closest to the water. We would remove them and get them to higher ground.
This time-lapse video shows how quickly a river in Kingsland, Texas, rose in just 3 minutes on Friday. Search and rescue teams say they're finding bodies up in trees, including at least one of the girls from Camp Mystic.
We found 2 young girls up near the Hunt store, and then about 10 o'clock we found another little girl wrapped up in debris in a tree.
More than 800 high water rescues have happened since the flooding began. White House officials re-emphasized Monday that National Weather Service offices were adequately staffed at the time of the floods.
We know the National Weather Service provided early and consistent warnings. They gave out timely flash flood alerts.
President Trump told reporters he will travel to Texas on Friday. Nydia Cavazos, CBS News, Kerrville, Texas.
Well, the Trump administration has announced a 25% tariffs on both Japan and South Korea. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt displayed letters you can see sent to the two countries. President Trump announced tariffs on dozens of countries back in April, but put a 90-day pause in place for negotiations. With that deadline approaching now, the White House says trade partners will have until August 1st to make new deals.
My mailbox was full last night with a lot of new offers, a lot of new proposals, so it's going to be a busy couple of days.
President Trump later posted on Truth Social copies of tariff letters to 5 other countries. 40% tariffs for Myanmar and Laos, 30% for South Africa, and 25% for Kazakhstan and Malaysia. So far, only 2 countries, Vietnam and the UK, have finalized new trade agreements.
Well, it is set to be a big summer shopping week. Adobe Analytics predicts Americans will spend nearly $24 billion this week during Amazon's extended Prime Days. Multiple retailers are competing for your hard-earned dollars with estimated discounts ranging between 10 and 24%, but consumers have the president's tariffs in mind.
Most of the stuff that you're going to see online or in store, that's already in the country. It's not going to be subject to further tariffs. But if you are looking for something that's coming from overseas, like toys, clothing, electronics, now is a good time before potentially higher import taxes.
Experts recommend using price-checking tools and stacking discounts with a cashback app.
Next week, more than 50 young Wisconsin musicians from the Wisconsin Youth Symphony Orchestra will embark on a 10-day-long international tour. The group will perform at the Granada International Festival of Music and Dance in Spain and other prestigious venues. This is their first international trip since 2019.
It's such an amazing experience, and to be doing it through WISO, to be performing there, I'm super excited to get immersed in the culture and not only play some exciting music for them, but to perform in those spaces which show such musician and history there.
Executive Director Michelle Kaibish says the intensive tour experience makes the students sound like a professional orchestra by their final performance. Many participants received scholarship support to make this trip possible.
And still to come at 10, Blaze tells us about the storms on the way for southern Wisconsin.
And images made by artificial intelligence are everywhere. But can kids tell what's real? We'll put two siblings to the test and see if they can spot fake images.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
From social media to search engines, AI-generated images are everywhere, and sometimes it's hard to tell what's real and what's not, but how well can children tell?
Very good question. In this Time for Kids report, sponsored by SSM Health, News 3 Now's Kyrian Lee put two siblings to the test. They took on a challenge to spot the fake images.
Scroll through social media and you'll see it. Images that stop you mid-scroll. But not everything people share online is real.
Do you think you can tell the difference between real images and AI images online?
Yeah. I think so. That's where siblings 10-year-old Ella and 12-year-old Miles come in. This brother and sister duo are ready to take on the AI image challenge.
Normally I look for small differences, or if there's like certain differences in certain backgrounds.
They were shown the same 10 images at different times. Some real, some made with AI. Their job, see if they can tell the difference. First up, a sweet photo of a dog with kids. Looks pretty cute, but Ella and Miles weren't convinced it was real.
You can see that it gets blurry in the background, which it normally does, but the dog looks kind of shinier than in real life.
The leash, it kind of like tapers off underneath her hand.
From Mount Fuji to the Northern Lights to the Titanic, their observations were so detailed.
The top picture, it shows a little bit of daylight on top of the mountains, and in the bottom picture you can see the sun setting, and you can just see daylight on the mountains.
Okay, so the AI image is the top one because the colors in the sky, they're really smooth, and they're not normally that smooth.
It also looks AI because this is probably a picture of the Titanic, and the Titanic is no longer around.
I don't think the Titanic had a mast, like those sails at the top.
But just when they thought they were on a roll, I threw in a curveball. Cheez-It pizza.
AI generated because I don't think there's a thing called Cheez-It pizza.
I don't think that's a real thing.
And a bag of Fruit Punch Oreos.
AI because there's not really a thing called Oreo Fruit Punch, and the bag doesn't look realistic.
AI because I don't think anybody would buy this.
Little did they know, the Cheez-It pizza, it's real. Available at select stores. And those Fruit Punch Oreos, also real, but a limited edition from 2014 that never made a comeback. Ella wasn't born yet, and Miles was just a baby. Even their dad, Chris Adams, was impressed.
I feel like I might have gotten a couple wrong if I had seen those.
He says their family is starting to talk more about how to use AI ethically and carefully.
Don't believe everything you read, don't believe everything you see. Check things out for yourself and go to the right places to check it out.
SSM Health child psychiatrist Dr. Jeremy Chapman says those conversations are key.
One consideration with AI is that a lot of folks are preoccupied with what people are receiving from AI, but not enough people are focusing on what is the child seeking from the AI.
He says that while AI can seem like just a tool, it sometimes fills emotional needs for kids.
Some of the elements of human interactions that people value most, being listened to, being validated, being cared for, like those kinds of things, AI is amazing at and better than most of our peers and friends and family.
And that's why he says guidance from parents matters most, even if sometimes the kids end up teaching us.
I am less worried about them as more as I'm worried about people my age or older. Listen to your kids.
These siblings nailed 8 out of 10. It's a reminder for all of us to don't believe everything you see and never underestimate how sharp our kids can be.
Those kids were tremendous.
Yes, they were.
Wow. Well, this Friday, you can meet News 3 Now at Warner Park for our Time for Kids during the Madison Mallards game. News 3 Now will give the first 2,000 kids a free gift. SSM Health staff will be there to share the Time for Kids digital device guide, and we'll have a fun digital device safety quiz where kids and parents can answer questions for a chance to win a prize.
We're all more worried about the adults being able to tell.
So.
Those kids were smart. Storms on the way for southern Wisconsin, but will they stick around?
Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here with the answer.
We're going to continue to see the hit or miss showers and a few thunderstorms, not only overnight, but pick up as we go into Tuesday, not only during the morning hours, but then again as we head into the mid to late afternoon. We're looking at more of eastern Wisconsin to deal with those afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday. This week, in terms of temperatures, though, looking pretty seasonal with a few more rain chances as we look towards the end of our work week. Tomorrow, right around where we should be for this time of year, upper 70s to the low to mid 80s, a little bit warmer off towards La Crosse and say Prairie du Chien as well as Platteville. Everybody else hanging out in those upper 70s to low 80s. Again, morning showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out. We'll get a break in the afternoon, and then we'll watch as those showers and thunderstorms return. But in the afternoon hours, it's going to be more off towards the east. You're going to be closer to this very weak area of rotation, this low pressure system, as it moves on through parts of the Midwest. So especially off towards Manitowoc, Green Bay, back south and westward through about, I would say, Dodge as well as Jefferson counties. That's where we're likely going to see more of that rain. But we can't rule out maybe a stray shower or two back south and westward as we go later into Tuesday afternoon. We'll wrap up that rain overnight into Wednesday. We stay dry Wednesday night, and Thursday, but then we see the rain chances return as we go into Friday, especially Friday night into Saturday. That's when a more organized low pressure system is going to come out of the Dakotas and make its way through the Minnesota area. That low pressure center over the cities as we go into early Saturday morning. That warm front is going to be what is going to likely bring us that next chance for showers and thunderstorms. We're going to be watching to see where this ultimately kind of moves. Is it going to stay further to the north and take more of a northerly track, or could it stay and trend its way south and eastward? Either way, not anticipating any severe weather, but that will change ultimately who's going to see these heavier pockets of rain, which could be upwards of about an inch to an inch and a half here in the purple. So again, if it moves further north, that heavy rain chance is going to move further north as well. But most of us will probably make off with an additional half an inch to about an inch of rain by the time we say goodbye to all this rain later this weekend. Let's take a look at where the rain is currently on radar 3000. We'll take it into Sun Prairie. That's where we have a little shower moving its way through. Now beginning to push into Marshall, staying south of York. Let's head on over to Dickeyville and as well as Potosi and Elk Grove, Platteville. That's where we're going to be watching some showers too. Maybe a flash of lightning. This is more of a moderate to heavy rain shower. This hasn't really moved very far, so some ponding and minor flooding could be an issue. But not everyone is going to see the rain activity tonight or into Tuesday. We dry out Wednesday, Thursday, as they said, and then we see more of those showers and thunderstorms return starting later Friday, overnight into Saturday.
And tomorrow morning's a maybe.
Yeah, you can check the First Warn Weather app, but it's going to be kind of like tonight. You may see a shower, you probably won't. And then we'll go into tomorrow afternoon. You may see a shower, you may not. So it's just very hit or miss.
All right. Yes. Blaze, thank you. So the Brewers have been pretty good lately.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do with the Dodgers.
Right?
Though, right?
If you would have told me when I walked in today, hey, Brewers are going to score nine runs tonight, I would have been like, no, you're crazy. I'm not crazy. Coming up in sports, a statement win in Milwaukee. How the newest Brewer set the tone in the first inning. Next on News 3 Now. Remember back in March when the Brewers started the year with 4 straight losses, and the thought was it's going to be a long season? Well, don't look now, but the once pretenders are now playoff contenders. Have a chance to prove it with the Dodgers in town. Crew hosting the reigning World Series champs in a 3-game set. And how's this for a first at-bat as a Brewer for Andrew Vaughn? 2 on for him and 3 gone for Vaughn. He's the 5th Brewer in franchise history to homer in his first plate appearance. And that 3-run bomb was part of a 5-run first inning. Brewers take game 1 in dominating fashion, and they might have found the bat that ESPN's Jeff Passan said they needed this morning on Wilde and Tausch.
I think the Brewers are one
big bat away from being a legitimate World Series contender. Like, I think that's what the ceiling of this team is.
Well, the trade deadline is July 31st at 5 o'clock. And let's flash back to 2008 on this day. The Brewers brought in CC Sabathia, and he carried Milwaukee to their first trip to the playoffs in 26 years. Sabathia went 11-2 that season with an ERA of 1.65 and led the NL with 7 complete games and 3 shutouts. The Northwoods League All-Star Game is next Wednesday, and for the first time since 2012, the Madison Mallards are hosting it. And a quartet of Mallards made the cut to play in this year's Midsummer Classic. Pitchers Tyler Guerin and Isaac Milburn, and hitters Mikey Bell and MJ Sweeney. The countdown to kickoff is down to just 52 days until Wisconsin opens up their season under the lights at Camp Randall Stadium against Miami of Ohio. And the feel outside the football program is that the Badgers won't have a lot of success in 2025. Circa Sports says set UW's win total at 5.5. That's the 4th lowest in the Big Ten. Remember, 6 wins gets you a bowl game. Well, speaking of Wisconsin football, the Athletic ranked the top 100 college football rivalries, and the Badgers found themselves on that list twice. The battle for the Heartland Trophy between Iowa and Wisconsin sits at number 22, and Paul Bunyan's Axe comes in at number 10, while Whitewater's rivalry with Mount Union found its way on the list at number 90, and Ohio State-Michigan was college football's number 1 rivalry. And that's it for sports. Blaze is back with one last look at your forecast after the break.
You're Stephen Colbert, and you're a little bit of a big deal where I come from.
Oh, am I really?
Yeah.
Colbert's got former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. CBS Tonight.
And Blaze is back. One final check of what's happening out there.
Yeah, a little bit of shower activity and a few thunderstorms off into Grant County. So we'll just quickly take it in and around Marshall and Dane County. That's where we have a little shower pushing into Waterloo. Still some rain wrapping up in Sun Prairie, off into the Platteville area and staying north of Cuba City for now. This has had a few lightning little strikes with it, a few rumbles of thunder. This will push into Elk Grove, but we're not anticipating anything severe. We'll look at scattered showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday as well, not only during the morning, but we'll get a break in the afternoon before that chance returns as we head into the afternoon hours on Tuesday. We dry out Wednesday and Thursday, then we'll see another round of rain as we go Friday night into Saturday.
All right. Blaze, thank you. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. Coming up now, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
And our next newscast is coming up tomorrow morning starting at 4:30. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+.